I swear I'm a film critic.
Long have we waited. The journey itself was quite something else. But now, once it finally arrived, we had so much hope. Then henceforth came a thrilling and yet surprising conclusion. Did they deliver like they promised? Or did we leave all our faith on those who didn't deserve it in the first place? Alright. Let's cut the BS, shall we? Let's just review this movie, alright?
Alright. Hello, movie people. Welcome back to a new episode of the CineGuy. I'm your host, Steven Angulo. Let's talk film. I take it from my little theatrics that you saw in the beginning. You can probably already guess what we're going to be talking about today. Yes, it's true. It's going to be Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. The Skywalker saga is now complete, ladies and gentlemen. Star Wars has finally reached its conclusion of this truly spectacular and awe-inspiring story that took us to a galaxy far, far away. Now, this final entry in the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is, how do I say this? Something else. It has already generated so much controversy over whether or not it was a satisfying conclusion to this beautiful, epic drama that we have been following since we were children. Now, you all have your various thoughts on this film. What are mine, you ask? It is a lot of fun, so to say. It has its moments and everything. It's truly like, Star Wars-y, so to say. But it just left me with so many questions, like, why did this happen? Why couldn't this have happened? So the story has us with our heroes, Rey, Finn, and Poe, coming back for one final encounter with the villainous First Order. Or so they thought. As it turns out, the First Order was simply the beginning. It was a distraction from the real threat. That's right, folks. Emperor freaking Palpatine is back. Yes. They brought him back. Apparently he did not die in Return of the Jedi. So somehow he's still alive. And turns out he was the real mastermind behind this entire continuation of the story. I mean, this guy's been in hiding for all these years on this like mysterious, I guess, Sith planet, so to say. It kind of looks like a dark version of Hoth. I don't know. Think of it like if a million air conditioners froze over hell, and that's what it was. It was terrifying. It was like, dark, and like, I don't even know, like, I guess the reason why Palpatine has such ashy white skin is because he has not getting enough sunlight. You gotta go back to Naboo or Coruscant. There we go, Emperor. That's your ticket to like a good health and rejuvenation. But no, on this planet, he has been constructing thousands of like these star destroyers that can destroy planets just like the Death Star. And apparently there's like a cult of like Sith worshippers down there who I honestly have no idea how they managed to survive there. Like, here's the thing. It's a dark planet, alright? And apparently there's snow, so it's kind of cold. How did they eat? There was like no like, I don't know, there was no like evidence of like, food or water there. Like, how did they survive? Like, do they feed on force energy? Is everyone there force sensitive, or are they just cultists that worship the Sith? Maybe they have homes they go to, and they only come here like on their free times. Like, hey, the book club of like the story of Darth Plagueis is on Thursday. Come on down. And they just gather around and share their thoughts. I don't know. But that wasn't the real CineGuy question. The first CineGuy question is simple. How was Palpatine able to construct all those Star Destroyers? What resources did he have? I mean, the planet is called Exegol, by the way. There's like no like mining or like blacksmiths or like technicians there. So how is that possible? I mean, Last Jedi, it was revealed that both sides have been, like trading with like manufacturers, traders, like, weapons dealers to like, construct ships to like fight each other. That show like, the profit economy of war. Like, are we really winning when there's people out there who's like benefiting from both sides? That was the whole point of Benicio del Toro's character in Last Jedi. So did Palps work with like traders in secret? Did he trick them into building it to him? Did he steal Star Destroyers? Like, where does he find the time and resources to do all this stuff? And with all that firepower to power those like planet destroying ships, where did he get the energy? Like, he had to. It was shown that in Rogue One that the Death Star was, the laser was made from kyber crystals. Do they grow on Exegol? Did Palpatine start collecting all these crystals before his final, like, master plan? Where did all this stuff come from? I mean, I know Star Wars is all about, like, the magic of space, but I highly doubt that a decaying former Dark Lord is gonna have the magic to like construct all these ships with the snap of his fingers. That ain't possible. I mean, there's just so much to comprehend, and in that way, it makes Palpatine's return seem more like fan service rather than like beneficial to this whole story. I mean, it would have been great to see some sort of foreshadowing in like Force Awakens or Last Jedi that Palpatine was back. Like, maybe have Snoke mention like, my master is waiting, or have him tell Rey about the Sith, because Snoke wasn't Sith. He was just a Dark Force user. So it made him seem like become like the new Emperor, and that like he was he was gonna be the main villain of Star Wars. So like any mention that like an even darker, sinister force is coming would have been great, rather than making this feel super last minute. Because heck, I would have been okay if like Palpatine had possessed Snoke and like that was like his new body. Maybe like when he like drains out the Force energy from Kylo and Rey, Snoke transforms back into Palpatine. I don't know how the mystics work in this universe. Also, Snoke was really downplayed in this series. He's killed off immediately in Last Jedi, and then we're like, okay, that happened. Where did this dude come from? I want to know his origin. Oh, there he is. He's in a tank because Palpatine created him out of Sith science. Yes, Star Wars can do that now. They can create life from like, from a little like, from a little potion tank. Also, he was really downplaying in this series. I mean, he was killed off in Last Jedi, and then we're left wondering, like, who the heck was this guy? And they try to tell us who he was, of course, but it's more like just thrown out there, like, oh, Palpatine created Snoke. Literally, like, apparently the Sith and Jedi, I don't know, this universe can now create life from a little septic tank. Like, you walk into Palpatine's lair, you see like 2 Snoke heads floating. Like, was he gonna build more? And can these like homemade life forms like use the Force? I thought the Force was like mystical and spiritual, like it chooses you, but no, like you could create a humanoid person and they could use the Force. Cause I don't know, like it would, cause like Snoke wasn't a machine. Like Grievous was trained in the Jedi arts, but he could not use the Force. He was more machine. So the Force had to come from like a life force. So like I don't know, it's just so weird and kind of like thrown out there that like, oh, Palpatine created Snoke. Like, why couldn't it have been like Snoke was Palpatine's hidden apprentice? Like somebody as like, if Darth Vader betrayed me, then Snoke could have just been there on the side, like, hey, you will replace Vader, and if he ever tries to kill me, you'll save my life. Or maybe like Snoke was like, maybe Snoke found Palpatine's body and, resurrected him. Like, I don't know how, but that could have been a practical way to, like, make Snoke more beneficial to this whole, like, story that Disney was trying to create. But yeah, I was hoping that Palpatine would have been introduced a lot sooner and given a much better role. But either way, it was nice seeing Ian McDiarmid back, and hey, this just makes Palpatine the big bad of the whole Skywalker saga. Man, this dude needs to leave the family alone. Which, in a way, he does, but... Some good news, though. We finally get to explore Rey's origin. Turns out she wasn't a nobody after all. No, her parents had a bigger connection to somebody else. A major character. Were they related to Han Solo? No. Luke? No. Lando? No. Then how are they beneficial? Were they trained by Obi-Wan? No. As it turns out, there is actually a much deeper meaning to her. She's Palpatine's granddaughter. There we go. That's it. That's the origin. Wait. Did the Emperor But yeah. Apparently he had a son, and the son had Rey, and that happened. I mean, it would have been a lot more meaningful if Rey was another Anakin, because Anakin had no father. Shmi Skywalker simply had him. He was created through the Force, and according to like some comics and all that stuff, it was showing that Palpatine managed to manipulate the Force to create life, and create Anakin. So it would have been more practical if, say, he did it again. Like, okay, Anakin Skywalker, that didn't really work out that well, so, you know what? Why don't I just do it again? Why don't I create life and, cause another birth of a new apprentice? And there we go. It would have been a lot more better to have, like, begun the series with this, like, the birth of Christ character type, and ended with the same type. That would have given the movie a much more spiritual meaning, because, let's face it, this series takes a lot of biblical proportions. Wow. We missed out on a lot, didn't we? Maybe I should have written this movie. Why not? I do a pretty good job. But yeah, Rey is a Palpatine, and she is courted by Sidious to come take his place as a new Empress. So, as you can see, there are a lot of parallels to Return of the Jedi here. I mean, Palpatine's the villain. We have a young Jedi, a young, Jedi trainee who's like tempted by the dark side. And of course, there's that evil dark side Force user who redeemed himself to help the hero. Wow. I thought Force Awakens was a rehash, but Rise of Skywalker, you did the same thing. I mean, not even Last Jedi felt like The Empire Strikes Back. That felt more like a complete different story. So, did you guys pretty much just reboot the original trilogy, except for the second one? And of course, you can guess, like in Return of the Jedi, she refuses and is supposedly dead. Until Rey starts to hear the voice of the Jedi, because that was a thing in the beginning when she was training, that, hey, let me try and hear these Force ghosts to see if they can give me any wisdom. Oh, nothing happened. Oh well, we'll wait until the end. Maybe something will happen. But it was so great to hear all the voice of all the Jedi that fell, because it's like a mirage of cameos. You hear Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Mace, Windu, Anakin came back. Even Kanan from Rebels was talking to Rey. It was just so great, and like, they're just speaking to her like, hey, Rey, the Force is with you. Rise, rise. Dish it, bashara, bashara, dish it, bashara, bashara. Sorry, wrong series. So being motivated by all those voices, she rises up, grabs her two lightsabers, faces Sidious by retracting his force lightning, and she has her ultimate I am Iron Man moment when she's like, I am all the Jedi. And then she repels the force lightning onto Sidious, frying him completely, destroying the temple, and saving the galaxy once and for all. Okay, there we have it. Like, it's cool and all, but I think it would have been amazing to have seen, like, all the Force Ghosts rallying behind her and, like, I don't know, shooting some kind of, like, force power onto Palpatine to, like, weaken him. Because it has been proven that the Force Ghosts can, like, you know, interact with the physical world, which makes no sense. I mean, Force Ghost Yoda set a tree on fire, and Force Ghost Luke could grab a lightsaber. I don't know the magic that's happening here. But it would have been kind of cool to, like, see that. Kind of like Goblet of Fire, where Harry and, like, the ghosts of his parents are, like, repelling against Voldemort in that cemetery. That would have been amazing to have seen. I would have loved that. But I guess in a way it was simply just to take down the ultimate evil, and, you know, the good guys win in the end. So there you have it. You either like it or you don't. Now, Kylo Ren. I know we've all been craving for Ben Solo to make some sort of, like, you know, way of redeeming himself, because he's technically the last Skywalker in this series. So you can't end the series without him. So how does he redeem himself? He talks to Han Solo in his memories, and then Kylo's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go help Rey fight Palpatine. Bye, evil. So yeah, I mean, when we first meet him, he's like, okay, he could be the main bad guy. He's all like, oh, I must find you, Rey. I know who you really are. And then they fight, and then Rey, you know, stabs him. But then apparently Leia gives him her force energy, and she dies. And then Rey heals Kylo, and then that's when he's like, you know, I don't want to be evil anymore. Oh, because the girl I like saved me. Well, it's acceptable, so to say. Also, he's not really that present during the final fight. Like, he goes to help Rey and fights off his Knights of Ren, which is awesome. He did the Han Solo shrug, which is fan service. But then once Palps drains, like, their force energy, he just pushes Kylo away and he's presumed dead. However, when it is believed that Rey is dead after using all her energy to, like, you know, kill Palpatine, Kylo transfers all of his force energy onto her, bringing her back to life, and Reylo fans rejoice. They share a little kiss, and then Kylo dies. Well, no, sorry, Ben dies and turns into a Force Ghost. Well, not really. He just disappears. We don't even see his Force Ghost in the end. Like, come on, he's the last Skywalker. If it's like the rise of Skywalker and Rey can see Leia and Luke in the distance and on Tatooine, why couldn't Ben be there? Where was Anakin? Come on, you're missing two Skywalkers. My gosh, Disney. But in a way, this is actually pretty symbolic. Like, the Skywalker saga began with a Skywalker and it ended with another one. Also, Kylo kind of had to die because he couldn't just, like, go to, like, the Resistance and be like, hey, I'm good now, guys. Like, no, they weren't accepted. He killed, like, most of their friends and fleet. So I guess his sacrifice is you know, meaningful. And, you know, it will live on as the ultimate redeemed hero since Vader. So yeah, the Skywalker saga ends with no Skywalkers. I mean, can we really count Rey when she's like, oh yeah, I'm Rey Skywalker, while Luke and Leia look at her all looking like, you know, the proud parent of the woman their daughter grew up to be? They look really proud, like, they're just smiling at her, and they're like, we're so proud of you, Rey. Oh, you're such a big girl now. Oh, here's a new car. I don't know, I guess she could, like, you know, take the name and everything, and it's symbolic, so to say. Like, she will continue the Skywalker name and give it a fresh new start, because when it started, it was all about evil, Cause Anakin Skywalker, I guess he's technically the first Skywalker in this like bloodline, and he like contaminated it by like turning to the dark side and becoming Vader. Then Luke supposedly redeemed it, but in a way it then got tainted again with Ben Solo. So with Rey being a new supposed Skywalker, this bloodline is now pure again. Cause here's the thing, she buried Luke and Leia's lightsabers into the sand, which means that she will start a new Jedi Order that doesn't really technically follow like original Jedi paths. Because she took out a yellow lightsaber. That could mean like either she's going to be a great Jedi or maybe like pursue a new following. Because Luke himself said, no, we got to destroy the Jedi. They've done too many mistakes. And then it seemed like, okay, maybe I was wrong. I'm not the last Jedi. Now Rey's going to be the Jedi. But with Rey being like, the new supposed Skywalker, she can offer a fresh, new, start to this, whole order. So, yeah, like, it's like a new beginning. A new day dawns. Rey Skywalker will lead a new path of the Jedi, in which they follow different methods and beliefs. Maybe they can finally get married without getting into trouble. And you know what? Peace in the galaxy once and for all. Man, Rey taking the Skywalker name, huh? That's kind of like if, say, I supposedly died and CineGuy went to a complete stranger rather than my own offspring or relatives. Nah. I will still be doing the show even as a Force ghost. Yeah, I mean, they can grasp physical things now, so I can grab this microphone if I wanted to. Alright, let's take a look at the other... Alright, let's take a look at the other characters. Finn is there, the redeemed stormtrooper, and we know nothing more. He's just, the hero type. We don't know anything about his origin except like, oh, he was a stormtrooper, and that's it. We don't know where he came from. He has no connection to anybody. He's not related to Lando, or say like some of the past heroes. No, it's just Finn. I mean, they couldn't have said like, oh, Finn, we found your parents, or we found this old necklace that belonged to your great aunt who took care of you before you were taken away. No, just Finn, you are just Finn, and that's it. The series started with you, and now you're just going to be a side character in this series because you're Finn. Also, apparently he's force sensitive. Like when he can sense Rey or tell which command ship to blow up in order to like stop the fleet of like evil Star Destroyers. So yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to at least see him use the Force, but no, it's just Rey, I gotta tell you something. What are we gonna tell Rey? I'll tell you later. Never does. It took J.J. Abrams at a Q&A to be like, oh yeah, Finn was going to tell Rey that he's force sensitive. That's it. It wasn't a whole I love you or anything. Even though it's highly implied the way he said it. Poe Dameron, our favorite new star pilot. We at least get an origin story. Apparently he used to be a spice runner and had a fling with a bounty hunter named Zori. Well, that explains a lot. Also, I did like the way his character developed in this one because in like the first movie, he was introduced like, oh, he's that awesome pilot who's really good at his job. Second movie is all about like his leadership decisions. How he's practically sacrificed an entire like fleet of like bombers just to blow up one command ship. So it was good to see him evolve into an actual leader when he gets chosen as the new general for the Resistance and he leads them into the final battle. So I did like the way they utilized Poe. And I feel sorry he couldn't get that kiss from Zori. Ah well, Poe, you can't win them all, can you, Spice Runner? Lando is back. And that's it. He's just there. We meet him when he saves the crew from like a spy. And then he's like, hey, what's up? I'm Lando. And then he leaves. We don't see him again until like the final battle when he comes in the Falcon with Chewie to fight. And then that's it. Like, Oh my gosh, that was pretty much just fan service to bring an old character back. Cause yeah, okay, here's the thing. With each of these films, it's it's an original trilogy's character story. Let's see, Awakens was Han's story because he was like, he was helping lead the characters. Jedi was Luke's story as he was, trying to make sense of like his beliefs and trying to lead Rey into a better path than he did. And I guess Rise of Skywalker was Leia's story as she's trying to make the connection with her son. But of course, with Carrie Fisher's death, there was just so little they could have done with it. And Rise of Skywalker was Leia's story as she's trying to connect back with her son. But since Carrie Fisher's death, rest in peace, they could have done with. Like I feel that if Carrie was still alive, we would not have seen Han Solo, but it would have been like Leia's force projecting talking to Ben to to redeem him, because as you can tell, Ben hesitated from killing his own mother in Last Jedi. So they still have that connection, but of course, there's not much we can do about stuff. Although I did like the way they utilized Carrie Fisher's last moments in this one. Like she did benefit a lot, especially with connecting with the Force and her son. Well, one thing's for sure, we can thank Lando for that awesome endgame moment during the final battle when all these ships from different planets came. It was thousands of them who just came just to fight. They weren't even our army or sword. They were just people. That would be if I went inside a Toyota, it's fighting a war, all because I believe in hope. That's what it felt like, and that's just awesome. So Lando, we salute you. Enjoy the Falcon, and of course C-3PO finally becomes beneficial to the story once again. Cause in Awakens he only had a cameo, oh 3PO's back, what's up? In Last Jedi he was just screaming a lot. But in this one, he's actually active. He's running with the heroes. He has to translate the Sith language to, find the planet Palpatine's on. And he's just, it's just great to see him in action. That's what C-3PO has to be like. The whole franchise started with him because of the whole, droid thing. So, welcome back, 3PO. We missed you. The original trilogy 3PO was actually active to the story. I mean, the Battle of Endor, he was there as a distraction, running with the Ewoks, so it works out great. Plus, many other new characters like Jannah, a former stormtrooper who may or may not be Lando's daughter. She is. Zoria, the bounty hunter who, had a past with Poe. She was a lot of fun. Although it would have been better to have seen her more in action rather than hey, follow me, I know somebody who can help you with a droid. Yeah, I mean, this is a bounty hunter with double pistols. I just wanted to see more of her, General Pride, the Tarkin of this trilogy, who will introduce really late. It was supposed that Hux would have been the Tarkin of this series. But then it's apparently he's a spy for the Resistance because he hates Kylo Ren. And then Pride just kills him off, giving him the end that he didn't really deserve. It just wasn't memorable for such a big character. Also, why was he helping the Resistance now? I mean, this guy was Space Hitler in The Force Awakens. This just didn't seem like him. Pride felt more like the evil general type in this movie because he fought in the Empire alongside Emperor Palpatine, so where his loyalty stands. And Richard E. Grant just looks plain evil in that suit. So it would have been great if he was introduced in Force Awakens as Hux's superior. Maybe a mentor who's my boy, you will do great things. And then he's you have betrayed me, my student, and then just kills him in the first movie for that. That could have been a much more appropriate ending for Hux. Cause I would have loved to have seen him fighting alongside Pride and dying when the command ship blew up. But I don't know. I guess there's only so much you can do with this series. And of course, Babu Frick, the greatest Star Wars character in this entire series. I mean, this little guy was only there for less than 2 minutes of the film, and he's just so much fun and memorable. He's like little. He speaks in like such a high pitched voice. He's the one who like fixes 3PO to like translate the Sith language and like his little hey. It's just so, oh my god, that's my ringtone. You don't believe me? Believe me. So overall, this movie is fun, and I'd say it is a appropriate entry into the Star Wars series. As for a conclusion, I feel they could have done a lot more. I mean, I remember reading that Chris Terrio, one of the writers, wanted to make wanted this to be a two-part ending, but it's like, no, the series has always been only 9 movies, so we're gonna stick with that. I mean, I would have loved to have seen 2 parts because there's like a lot to tell here. There could have been a lot more to explain, and like the beginning wouldn't have felt like, super rushed and all over the place. It was like, we're here, now we gotta go over here, now we gotta go there. Wait, we gotta go over there. Oh wait, his story comes next. Then now it's her story. It was just way too much. But of course, it has everything that we want in a Star Wars movie. Has some great action. The visuals are amazing. The expansion of the universe of all these new planets was done pretty well. And you know what? I do believe it took us to a new galaxy far, far away. Just like this entire series has. So I'm gonna give this my real rating of 8.8 Babu Fricks out of 10 Poe Dameron telling C3PO to. So I'm gonna give this my final rating of 8.8 Babu Fricks out of 10 Poe Dameron telling 3PO to move his metallic ass. He does that, and it's beautiful. Alright guys, so do you agree with what I said? Because I know plenty of Star Wars fans who were super disappointed with this movie. Alright guys, so do you agree with me? Because I know plenty of Star Wars fans, let's call them the fandom menace, who did not like this movie at all. But I thought it was like good fun. I mean, it's the least you can get from a Star Wars movie. Like, as for a conclusion, like, I do wish I could have gone all out rather than, because I felt that they were holding back a lot and they just threw some things into it. Like, it would have been nice to see maybe George Lucas come back to offer his intake. Like, okay, let's do this, and let's do that. And that would have been great. Because it started with him, why not end with him? Alright? Just a thought. But no, Disney decided, ho, we're gonna make money. Oh boy. Mickey Mouse, you pathetic little. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a like if you did, subscribe and join the crew, and we'll see you next time for another awesome review. Also, Happy New Year everybody. I'm so glad we got to open up this new, not just new year, but new decade, talking about Star Wars. Like, there's just no better movie to begin this new, this new era that's just began. Also, if you want to check out some more fun reviews, do follow my Instagram at CineGuy Steven. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. I posted my Spies in Disguise review, and you're going to want to read this one. Alright guys, this is a tired Star Wars fan who is still satisfied, I guess. Signing off. I think I'm gonna go watch Rebels because I just finished Mandalorian, so gotta give more taste of Star Wars. That's what I am. Till next time, this is Steven Angulo signing off. May the force be with you. That's a wrap.